Hi everyone, and welcome to the next video in our course, Beginner's Basics for FreeCAD 0.22, or what will be known as FreeCAD version 1. I'm going to take you through the basic preferences for this course to get you up and running. We'll also look at some preferences to help you if you have a visual disability such as myself, or if you're struggling with the user interface for FreeCAD and you want to make it a little bit bigger and a little bit clearer. So I hope you're enjoying this course. And let's have a look how we set up FreeCAD to start our learning. If you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, then you can do so via Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/MANG0 or via PayPal at paypal.com/paypalme/DarrenBEstone. I also run a Patreon where you can get early access and additional content, and that's at patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Links can be found in the channel header, on the About page, or in the descriptions of these videos. So before we start the course, we need to set some settings through the preferences. These are going to make the course a lot easier to follow, and also it's going to help with a few other things as well, such as visual disabilities. To set these settings, we go to Edit and come down to Preferences. Our preferences are displayed, and we get to our first page, the General and the General section. Now this course is in English, but you can set the language in here, along with the default unit system as standard, which is millimeters. If you're working in the imperial unit system, then we can drop this down and set it within here. Please note that this can be accessed from down the bottom here as well. So we can swap in and out of those unit systems. The number of decimal places is set to 2. This determines the precision when dimensioning your geometry. For this course, I'll be using the theme as classic. We can change this to whatever we want in here. We can also add preference packs via the add-on manager if you want to change your theme. The size of the toolbar icons, I will increase to large. This is only for demonstration purposes, and also is to help with visual disabilities, such as what I have myself. Next, we'll move to the selection. In here, you'll see Enable Preselection. This is the color that is shown when we pre-select faces. That is, when we roll over the faces of an object, those faces will be pre-highlighted, including the vertices and the edges. This may cause some headaches or visual disturbances, so I'm going to tone this down. To set it, we click on it and coming in and changing the colors within. So if I pick a reddy color here and I hit OK, I can see when I roll over the edges and the faces that we get this pre-selection in a different color. We can reset that by coming down to the bottom and reset page section, and we get back to what we was before. Next is the notification area. These are enabled by default. When a notification is activated via something like a message or error, a small pop-up window will appear at the bottom here, along with this icon in the toolbar, which we can click at any time to see the notification. Moving on for notifications, and related is the report view. The settings that we're interested in is the show report view on error, and any of these that say show report view. If you ever used FreeCAD before, then you may have noticed this panel popping up. It's quite irritating, and because we've got this notification area here, it's more or less unneeded. Though it shows important information, it can be turned off and the notifications used instead. To do that, uncheck the show report view on error and any of the show report view on warning or normal messages, including the log message. Just uncheck these and just use the notification menu itself, or we can show the panel by coming out to View, Panels, and Report View. So we'll just uncheck that show report view, so they're all unchecked. The next section, the display, Let's open this up and have a look within. Come down to the 3D view, and we have this show coordinate system in the corner. This is the coordinate system down here. We'll increase the size of this. I'm just going to increase it by 30% and hit apply. You can see it there. Maybe a little large, so we can always take it and drop it down a bit more. Let's go for 20% and apply that. So you can see the coordinate system in the right hand corner. We'll be using this a lot in our modeling, especially when we understand what planes to mirror across and which planes to orientate to. In the rendering section, there is a setting called marker size. At the moment, this is set to 9 pixels. This defines the size of the vertices in the sketcher and the tech drawer. It's also used across some other workbenches as well. If we look at the sketcher, the markers are these points here. So you can see we've got middle points and the points around the edges of this rectangle. If we add a point as well, it will also be the size of these points. Let's change those sizes. Come out to Edit Preferences, look at our 3D view, look at the rendering, the marker size, let's up this to 15 pixels. Hit Apply, and what you'll see, if I move this over to the right, you'll see the marker sizes have changed within. It's up to you what size you want these, but make it comfortable for your eyes. The camera type is set to orthographic by default. If you're using perspective rendering, then the model will appear as it would in the real world, but it'll have the same form of distortion, where parts further away will appear smaller than the parts closer. Therefore, perspective modeling is really ideal for a real-world render, such as those for advertisements, graphic work, or marketing, but not ideal for accurate measurements. Orthographic mode doesn't have these distortions. There is another sketcher setting that we're going to set. If we come into the sketcher and come into display, you'll see the font size. This is the font size of the dimension of constraints. So you can see these dimensions here. It also affects the constraints themselves. So you can see we've got this little line which denotes a vertical constraint, and this one denotes a horizontal constraint. And we can see we've got symmetry constraints as well. When we change the font size, we also change those. So we're at 17 at the moment. I'm going to up this to 24. If I move this to the side and hit apply, we can see the constraints themselves and the font has increased in size. There are other settings that we may want to set to increase such things as vertex size and line size, and that's in the part/part design. Come into here and come into shape appearance. We can see that we've got the line width and the vertex size in here. We can increase these to make it easier on the eye to select these. Also, another setting that may help you if you're having trouble selecting, say, vertices and edges. If we come up to General and come into Selection, we'll see the pick radius that sits here. This can be increased to a value above the default of 5. So at the moment, if we have a pick radius of 5, if I OK this and have a look at this shape here, as I come close, if I'm within 5 pixels of that edge, I can highlight it. If I change that pick radius, Edit, Preferences, and come into the pick radius and set this to something like 15, so 15 pixels, and OK that, when I come within 15 pixels of that edge, you can see it highlights sooner. This will make your life easier when highlighting the edges, but be aware if we set it too high, then we have to zoom in and then highlight the edges, because we may have a number of edges close to each other that may be within our pick radius. So we might find it hard to pick one over the other. Please note with some of the settings that I've set, the toolbars themselves may be out of position compared to the course. You may see more or less tools, and some of them will be in a drop down like this, which I'll be moving by dragging the tool down into a new position. But we'll go through that in our next video, where we'll look at changing the panels and the toolbars to suit our needs. Hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope to see you in the next part of this course. If you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, then you can do so via Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/MANG0, or via PayPal at paypal.com/paypalme/DarrenBEstone. I also run a Patreon where you can get early access and additional content, and that's at patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Links can be found in the channel header, on the About page, or in the descriptions of these videos. I thank everybody that's donated so far. It really helps to keep the lights on so I can produce more content and also expand the channel. Thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing to these videos, and I hope to see you again in the next one.